Prepare yourself for a sprawling discussion on just about anything, where critical thinking meets pop culture in a collision of mind-bending proportions. Please secure all neurons and prepare for full frontal cortex. It's time for Incoherent Ramblings. Why? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Incoherent Ramblings. This is episode 49, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. 49, yes. And we're doing it on words to the Y's. Y spelled W-H-Y-S. We're going to ask all the why questions we should know the answers to, but don't. I'm your host, Joey Sham. We also have
Paul Heidinger,
Cale Anderson,
Daryl Jors.
And today's sponsor is going to be Mindy from Buttons and Mindy. No, not Mindy. From Animaniacs. So she always said, why?
Because I said so. Damn
Okay,
it.
good. So we're going to be asking all the questions. The subtopics today, which I'm prepared for Paul's phone, will be intro to the Y's, what they are. Then we're going to look into kid questions, biology questions. Biology questions to the sequel. Social questions to the sequel, the bigger picture. Then we each will have a question that we have not shared with the rest of the group that we will ask the why and discuss.
or thought of.
And might I add just in the intro here that I intentionally didn't look up very many of these, so probably during the show, as we're answering things, we'll give it a little look up and say like, hey, this is the what science has to say about this. But I kind of want to, this is our opinion today, just like usual.
Today. Okay.
It's never our opinion.
I'm over here discreetly wiping my nose, thinking I don't want to make any noise.
And I'm like, you're sticking your nose on camera.
By the way, this is our third attempt to make video. make video.
I don't know if that's such a good idea anymore.
The first attempt to make video was a complete disaster, like most attempts to make it the first time. And
For yourself,
We blew our load fast.
yeah, and then the last one was pretty good. So we still don't know. We'll see how it turns out. So, hi world, we're on the TV.
I have good feelings for it, other than the fact that's our faces. Oh, hey, what was that?
All right, you can always reach it. I thought we weren't going to time the beginning anymore.
Oh, we weren't?
Oh, maybe we were.
No, we weren't.
Okay, fine. I forgot to warn you anyway.
That's okay.
We'll start over.
So start the time after we do the pre-ramble ramble.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
Whatever.
So remember, you can always reach us at IamRambling.com. Please email us. Please, we know you're out there.
So if we get things factually wrong, don't string us up by our toes. I mean, we're going off the cuff here.
No, it's okay. And comment on our pages, any of them, for whatever reason.
Just send an email and suggestions.
Just comment on Facebook, and we want to know you're there. Yo.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get going on the pre-ramble. I really want to hear some echo on that, Derek. Come on, echo.
Maybe next time.
All right, so my section is, of course,
Is that Mork? Mork. And Mindy.
Today's is going to be a special one because we are doing Y, so it's going to be Vitaferk. Which I'm. Oh, now you get it. It's not.
I get it.
Yeah, so my Vitaferk is just going to be stupid Y questions that I just got off the internet, but I like some of them. Like, why does the pizza get to the house faster than an ambulance? It's not that good. I like this one though. Why doesn't Tarzan have a beard?
He shaves with all those sharp stones he finds out of the jungle.
This was this was Booger, for those of you who are fans of Incoherent Ramblings. Booger, who used to be on this, and may someday be again, was why are they called apartments when they're all stuck together? Why do banks leave their doors open but chain pens to their counter?
Are you just going to read off all the whys we're not answering these?
No, because these are silly. These are like silly rhetorical.
Because I actually know the reason for Tarzan. Because I've read all of the books.
Okay, why? I want to know.
What is that where his parents had died, he found in there the razors, and he actually looked at the pictures, and so he wanted to be like his father, and he shaved.
Very cool.
Those razors lasted a long time.
So then why did George of the Jungle not have a big beard?
Oh, because he was a
cartoon.
Total copy of, right.
Why do we press harder on the remote when we know the batteries are dead?
Seriously.
I totally do that.
Wait. Here's a good one. Why is it that when you're in a foreign country and someone doesn't understand what you're saying, you just say it louder?
Yeah. Why is
You do
lingerie
that to deaf people too.
Why is lingerie so popular if love is blind? Because there's some ugly bitches out there. No, wait, that didn't.
All I heard was ugly bitches. What the hell was that?
Why is lingerie so popular?
And if love is blind, yeah. All right, that's enough. Let's move on to.
I need this.
Oh, you need your phone. My phone is filming.
stall
Hi,
for a
phone.
second.
Yes.
Wait, hi, my
Quite
phone.
okay. It's good. So.
Word.
You guys need an extra phone?
Word of the
I'm done now.
He's typing. He's going. That's why it keeps lasting.
At least you can multitask. That's a good thing.
Your weekly dose of absolutely senseless stuff from me, because that's all I have to contribute to this thing.
That should be your webpage.
Okay. .com. So today's
That's a long
word of the week
URL.
is brown on the cheese.
Oh, I don't even want to go there. Brown on the cheese. Okay, well, obviously, it sounds very fecal-like, but that doesn't mean it has to be.
No, it doesn't have to be, but it is.
It is Urban Dictionary. Everything revolves around poop.
Brown on the cheese. Because maybe it's a sports thing like that. Did you see that guy make that basket? He's brown on the cheese. That might be racist.
Yeah, that didn't come across so
I'm
well.
not sure how.
We're in our
racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it! Only 7 minutes.
What?
And we're already being racist. What the hell?
I didn't say I wasn't racist. I said it sounded racist.
Oh, Joey jumped the gun on racism.
And why are you saying it like that? Whoa! You're trying to beat like a black man?
No, I'm saying
I'm
like
not.
a dopey white guy.
Okay, so I'm not even gonna guess. Just go ahead.
Okay, you were close. You were close.
Oh my god,
Wait,
really?
you know what? I think it's when you're being smoked so fast that it burns the cheese. Anyway, I don't know.
Okay, what was it?
Well, it's pretty close there, Joey. It's when something turns out perfect or is great, like perfectly cooked brown cheese on pizza.
Really?
So it's like, man, that jacket is the brown.
Okay,
cheese.
see what Paul was doing there? He was getting us to start saying, oh, like, look, someone took a shit on the vagina or something.
Yeah, well, brown
That
on
was
cheese
not the
is
Cleveland
also,
bow tie.
you know, poop on. All right, it's poop on a pizza.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
Good one.
Hey,
All right.
God, that's a little drippy today. It smells like science anyway.
we didn't need to know
Smells like the brown on the cheese.
All right. I actually have something really cool today, and it is the astronomers.
That was out loud.
I'm kidding, Kale. You are always proud of cheese.
We're already good.
Thank you. Somehow that doesn't make me feel better, but all right.
Wait, is he the brown
astronomers?
Dude, you just keep knocking them down.
We always
man.
cut Kale off. You can't follow the word of the week.
You know, I'm getting used to it though.
As the host, I silence you all.
Oh yeah, like that works too.
Oh, wait.
I'm supposed to talk.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
All right, the astronomers have created the first realistic virtual universe where you can play from the Big Bang all the way through until now, and they show how the universe actually forms and how it becomes what it is today, and it shows us. So there's a video that I will post.
Shut up!
That might explain why galaxies spiral.
That's one of the things.
And
that
shut
will
up.
be later.
All right.
But yeah, so
will.
they're actually.
Fine. Okay. This time I'm sincerely sorry.
Yeah.
Sure you are.
No, I'm not.
Anyway, we're waiting for the bell, as I say.
Well,
No, it didn't happen.
no. So you can act.
What an a-hole. He tells me not to cut him off.
Well, no,
wait.
He's done.
He's done with his explanation. Now it's
your turn to ask.
So go, Daryl.
a question.
So what
Ask
kind of
a question
computer do
about
they
that?
use?
You don't have to. You can actually answer.
So wait, if you is it considered to be fairly realistic?
Yeah, that's why it's so significant. Is because they've used over 100,000 lines of code
That's a lot of code.
to actually simulate it.
That's like a fart app.
Wow. Guess what time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for me to get interrupted. And it's also Tech Talk.
What talk?
What? What the?
It's that.
It's Daryl's.
Oh, time code. Tech Talk. It's tech. What the?
I was
talk?
going to say FERC, but somehow it slipped out
it
anyway.
Kinda you weren't saying what you.
Yeah, why does he say "Vert the f***"?
That's not very Swedish of you. All right, so now that I can't read this on my tablet anymore, gosh, because it's sideways.
Daryl's been yelling at his
Why?
tablet for like the last.
Why is
Okay,
your
here we go.
tablet
Here we go.
TikTok?
Because I have the
I'm watching the thing screw, and he almost has it, and then
know.
it jumps it
I'm
out.
trying to get the.
Tech Talk today is about how things are sideways on your tablet.
Okay, there we go. There's a website called Is It True? And it's spelled kind of weird. It's IZITRU. That's why I needed to look at my tablet.
Is it true?
Is it true?
Is it true? And what it is
Is it
it's an
.com?
online what?
.com?
.com. Yeah, and it's an
What is it?
online photo checker. So what it'll do is it can basically run forensics on any photo that you upload to it, JPEG or whatever, and it can basically tell you like if it's a camera original and has never been modified.
Ooh, that's
It'll be
cool.
like this is a real photo. But then if it's like a photo of a shark like jumping out of the water, like grabbing some Coast Guard guy out of a helicopter, it'll analyze
wasn't
that and
true?
it'll go like, well, there's a mismatch in some of the mosaicing that's happening in the compression. And this isn't a camera original, it's been recompressed since then. So it'll give you these warning signs that say this may be a composite.
Does it take like does it have like a database of like original like it deems original photos where it compares the
from
two,
what I'm,
or is it all based off the?
I think
like,
it's
the
all
compression
based
and all
on the
that?
actual image quality. So because they can do things like detect color shifts from one area to another, exposure differences and things like that. So
All right, moving on. Hey, remind me later. Also, bring up Sharknado.
Okay.
Rift Tracks live. I think I see a.
Oh.
I think I see a
That'd
field
be
trip
fun.
for
Okay.
Incoherent Ramblings. Okay, guys.
Wait, live like in person?
No, live like you go to the theater and it's
nice.
like broadcast
really?
live.
Oh, dude.
I think it's next. I think it's next month.
That's
So.
really cool.
Nice.
All right, guys. So let's start off with the intro to the whys. The questions kid asked and questions we ask as adult. What's the purpose of things we do and we take for granted? Breathing, sleeping, laughing, dreaming. All these things that make us human. Do we outgrow asking certain questions? I kind of like this as a topic, Daryl, because there are a lot of these questions that we really never look into. We just
Right.
kind of assume there's, I don't know, why we don't. Why
kinda-
don't we ask why?
I kind of
I think
attributed
we,
it to being jaded. Like after you're used to things, you just stop asking certain questions.
I think the sky blue...
like why do we interrupt Paul?
Yeah,
before you
yeah.
talk?
No, we interrupt Kale. But like the sky blue one, I know that's one I always keep trying to go back on because I hear different things about it, and I think I know it, so it's going to be interesting when we get to that.
Well, I think one of the other exciting things about looking this stuff up is sometimes there's not a clear answer to some of these really basic questions, you know. And kids are more prone to asking these things.
And kids forget.
They forget
You
the
tell
answer.
them, and it's like they're gonna they're gonna ask you again.
So you make up something new each time.
As a teacher, my standard answer to why is because.
Yeah, that's a great
That's
answer. Joe.
pretty much it.
Let's use that.
My
That's
answer
a-
is type it into Google.
Yeah, that's.
I actually do that a lot with the kids. I will say like, okay, Google, and then I'll ask what they have.
You know what? That is kind of a cool quality in a teacher, though, because I would be afraid of an instructor who basically thinks they know everything. Like if they are like a walking encyclopedia and they have an actual good answer to everything, that's one thing. But someone who's so overconfident that they think they never have to look something up, because that's, as an instructor, you don't want to look dumb in front of your students. But at the same time, no one stops learning, including an instructor. So
Yeah, and I think that's important to tell
As an
them.
instructor, I am constantly telling them I have no freaking clue.
Another thing too is like it's like the whole give someone a fish versus teach them how to fish thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you give them a little nibble of knowledge, and that informs them on one topic.
Yeah.
You teach them to look things up.
You ask and
By the way, the answer to how is magic.
Magic. I've used that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
magic.
How does the magic?
The magic of
That's all you got to do. And you walk away. So go ahead, Paul.
Poor Paul, man.
Go, Paul.
I don't know. What
And playing the role of Kale's being interrupted is
Will
Paul.
be
Yes.
Paul this week.
No, I agree with Daryl here with the teach how to fish, and we're giving fish, whatever the hell he said. But as a teacher, it really opens up a learning moment, or a teaching moment, I should say, that you can have with your students, because you're just not giving them an answer and it's like it's done, but you can teach them, like if you tell them how to look up on Google or whatever, it's giving them a moment of how to actually research and how to actually look something up
let's go
and
find
critically
that
think.
out.
Yeah,
Let's-
they're
as a
learning.
group,
They're learning how to learn.
Well, as a
and how to
librarian,
research.
you
That's
don't want to
important.
just have someone, like, you don't want to be someone's crutch for the rest of your life. You want to teach them how to actually access resources. in the
and people come and
library.
ask stuff, and they're like, "Well, where's this? I need the books on this." And then I'll tell them where it's at, or something simple where are the art books or whatever. But then
Where they
teach
are
them
at.
how to look it up,
Where's
Exactly.
the
so
bathroom
they can
to-
do it themselves next time.
And that's one of the things.
That's most
and
of the
I think
questions.
that's a
Google.
good thing about teaching children is you want to enable them.
There's
to,
a floor plan on Google.
Just look it
And
up.
floor
Look it up.
play.
So with children, it's
you
good
can
to
look that
enable
up,
them
too.
with the skills to do what you've been doing.
Yeah. And again, and
you acquired your knowledge through
support
accessing
curiosity.
it. So.
Because like
Curiosity, yeah.
kids may be scared
Foster
to
that,
And you
ask
can-
questions, and now you're
You can
fostering
end each
curiosity.
thing you say knowing is half the battle. So, kid questions. Why is the sky blue? Why are some words bad? Are the two examples we got. Let's start with why is the sky blue? The reason I'm pretty sure it's not is what a lot of people say, because it reflects off the ocean.
Yeah,
No.
heard that one quite a
Really?
few times.
I've heard that by quite a few adult individuals who actually believe that.
But then it's like, why is the ocean blue?
Yeah, well,
Reflects
yeah. And
off
I actually have
sky.
I actually have I
Circular
believe
reasoning right there.
Yeah.
my reasoning for the sky is the same as the ocean. I believe that the ocean has a slight tint of blue, and then when you just pile it all on top of each other, it becomes the heavier it is. That's why it changes color when it gets thicker.
Yeah, it's the
That's-
distance to light.
that's
so
not-
reflecting, isn't it?
But they
Off the
might have
bottom
something to
of
do
it?
with
That
wavelength.
isn't half bad because it's actually pretty much right. It's just you can describe it a different way that makes it a little more clear. So
Okay, yeah. See that,
So-
and that's how I
That's
see it. Is because and that's when I've talked to kids who try to explain to them. I say, when you look at the ocean, it's blue, but if you take a glass and bring it out in the water and look at it, it's not blue because
Right.
there's not enough of it.
Well,
you guys want to try it before I? Because
Sure.
I kind of know this one.
We're going
the
2 minutes
thing
of question,
is,
right?
About,
it has to do with the scattering
There's no
of
ding in
particles.
between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
and
it has
the ways
this
that your eyes
scattering of
interpret.
particles as the sunlight comes in
Yeah.
and hits the atmosphere.
Right, and that's the other one I've
That's
heard.
the scattering. So basically, the shorter wavelengths are scattered more by the particles in the atmosphere. So the gases cause the blue to scatter a lot more than the red, the yellow, and the orange. And that's also related to why a sunset has those red, yellow, orange colors in it. Is because when the sun is closer to the horizon, you're looking through a lot more atmosphere than when you're looking straight up. So when you're looking straight up at the sun, like at noon, don't do it with your bare eyes.
Straight up now, tell
But
me where the sky is
it'll
blue.
look like
Mr.
white light,
Darrow.
basically. But all of it, as it's come through the atmosphere, the blue has scattered off some. That's why the sky around looks kind of blue, because you're getting scattering from those areas, but the other wavelengths of color are generally shooting straight
So
and not reaching you.
Is sunlight then missing some of its blue wavelengths as it reflects off of things?
Yes.
So we're seeing...
And that's why it turns more red
Right.
when you're looking through more atmosphere.
But what I'm saying is, if we're up in space, do we see things differently? Like,
Yeah, it'd be probably a clearer, whiter light.
And it also has
Very
to do
interesting.
with what gases are in the atmosphere, because if you're on Mars, you would not
Yeah.
see a blue sky.
Before we move to the
True,
next one, I
yeah.
want to mention one thing that is kind of cool that I was thinking about when thinking about the subject, is that they describe pure sunlight as being white, And what's interesting about that is I think that is white because that's how we evolved.
oh
'Cause
yeah,
that's the
a
main
good point.
source of light that we've ever had to deal with. Like if we were next to a yellow giant or a red.
Oh, interesting.
That would be
That would be white.
Right, we would probably see that as white, and our sun would look kind of blue.
so.
That's
so
cool. That's
it
a
must
great
have
way
been
of
all
looking.
jacked up for Superman.
yeah, right, exactly.
He's
He's like, why is everything green? It's all kryptonite.
Why is he Arnold?
Yeah,
I can't remember where it was, but there was this really cool thing about how that if you had a red giant and a blue giant, twin stars in the sky, then
boy.
as the Earth went around, you would get red and you would get blue when that sun was out.
And if they're both, I get purple.
Yeah, when they were
And then you
rising.
get, when it rains, you get Prince. All right, real quick, what's the other question?
Why are some words bad? Because we want them to be, I guess.
yeah, it's the interpretation that society's put on them.
It's your society's
Culture.
interpretation.
Actually, I
of
would
those
say that
words.
if you by saying they're bad, you're making them worse because then they aren't saying as much.
Because they're
Come in,
taboo.
Eddie.
Entree.
I had
So the only reason why they're forbidden is because they're taboo, and they're usually
Yeah, 'cause
taboo
of George
subjects,
Carlin.
right? Like it's inappropriate to talk about piss and poop
snap, dude.
and all these
Here.
other things that we have
Over
swear
here.
words for
Come here, dude.
during dinner time.
I don't want to
right?
scream.
All right.
Oh my
That
god!
was
We
the
have
bell.
to change topics.
And then the other major swear words are all about sex, which is another taboo subject. So
okay.
all right.
Good call. Okay, next is kid question. Oh wait, why is kid question? Oh, biology questions. Why do we sleep
We don't. We have kids.
Why do we drink?
and why do we dream?
Nice one.
Sleep actually. We were just listening on
dream to
the
keep the
future of the
nightmares
mind.
away.
Now they're figuring out things about why we sleep and why it's necessary.
Oh.
And things.
We're eating again.
You always add with the food.
All right, here I'll have a couple French
Well, he didn't
fries.
bring his do-it-yourself foot this time.
Okay, so why do we sleep?
What's the name
I'm
of that
trying to
place?
remember.
Fall yourself.
Delicious.
We should
Oh,
really
okay.
open one called that. Well, what did he say on the about sleep? He was saying how it was I
It
can't
allows
remember.
To clear out.
Clear out. Yeah, that was it. It was to clear out the junk.
Yeah.
Like the mental waste.
Yeah,
I clear my
that's
junk on a
actually
regular basis.
He does.
it's actual physical stuff
fun to
in your
watch
brain
those
that gets
together.
cleared out as you sleep.
Well, it's chemically
Plaque,
that
sort
way.
of like
Yeah,
plaque.
that was what he was saying. Yeah.
That's
There
why
are
we
quite
sleep.
a few theories
While you sleep.
about this. One of them is also mind plasticity, about how you kind of reinterpret things that you've experienced throughout the day. So during your sleep cycle, you have time to kind of redo your connections, and your neurology changes some in the night. That's one theory. There's another one about conservation of energy, which I think has a lot of merit to it, because scarcity is a big thing about wild animals.
Hibernation.
So, first of all, if it's dangerous for you to venture out at night because there are a lot of nocturnal predators out there, you might want to just sit still anyway. And then if you're sitting still, you may as well go into a low power mode, because your metabolism is going to be burning all this energy.
Well, that was actually what he brought up in the book. Is like, what's the evolutionary point of sleep? Because it's evolved by all these creatures, yet what are you doing? You're basically becoming vulnerable
Right.
to anything out there. So it has to be
However,
so important.
If you're awake and cognizant, maybe you might evolve to sit there with your eyes open and be alert, but stay totally still.
Our pet rats
But that's
sleep
hard
with their
to do
eyes open.
because your muscles and everything, you want to move around.
Yeah,
So I guess the alternative to that is,
that's
if you
interesting.
want to be silent,
that's
and
interesting. Maybe it was that.
not call attention to yourself, then you just kind of hibernate overnight.
Interesting. So maybe
Snore
those
like
that
a-
survived were the ones that were able to
Just stay still longer.
stay still longer during part of their life. That's
Right,
very
and fewer of them got eaten by the T-Rexes at night or whatever.
So next
Yeah,
one
I mix up my
is
mammals and my
next one is large hairy twat. What?
what?
Well,
Oh, that was Ed's. Ed sent a text. Sorry, no. The next one is why do we dream?
Joey got it.
Why do we dream?
Well, no, I've got his phone because mine's.
well,
Joey
Daryl
got
was
the
talking
twat.
about
have-
that.
Twice.
Yeah, I think it might be related to the plasticity. We covered this in our
of
dreaming
a large
episode
hairy
a long
twat.
time
Oh wait,
ago.
we're doing dreams. That's right.
Well, I think it is a combination of what Daryl was saying, and also it's not just what you were thinking before you went to sleep. It's whatever is getting cleaned out of your brain.
They say
it
broadcasting there
activates
so Daryl can see.
those
Yeah.
memories.
He was saying it takes a day, though. You usually don't
Yeah.
dream about the stuff that happens that day.
Right.
You'll
Right.
dream about the stuff at least a day in advance or previous.
Well, I was dreaming about Massachusetts as I woke up today.
I gotta say,
I'm
though,
serious. We were all in there singing it together.
The whole idea of dreaming, though, does kind of fly in the face of the energy conservation theory for sleep, because it's like, why should your brain be active and burning all these calories unless it does something good for you?
Right,
And
yeah.
I brought it up in the dreaming episode that I kind of think of dreams as being almost like a built-in simulator. Like, you kind of can practice things. Like, you might be out in the savannah and like you
Practice a lot of sex.
You missed that water buffalo with the spear you threw. Then you might dream about that later on and
So,
train yourself to kill it
biology
better next
part
time.
2. Why do we have gender and sex? Why do we breathe?
Well,
Because one depends on the
one,
other.
there's a penis and a
and
vagina.
one's a catcher mitt,
One-
and one's a baseball
Baseball
bat. I was
I need
there,
some-
but I heard it from
Yes,
you.
I heard it nonstop from
Boys' night out back in
Sixth
fifth
grade.
Yeah,
the
sixth grade.
mother-daughter dessert where you got sundaes and tampons.
Yeah, what's up with that? We didn't get any tampons.
Mother-daughter dessert.
Yeah, that's their version
Wait,
of the
which
boys'
one's
night out.
dessert?
Oh,
Okay,
should have got like
What?
pigs in a blanket.
Which
or
one has a
something.
cherry?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so why do we have gender and sex?
Well,
That's
your
an
mind
I mean,
goes
well,
places
we have.
Why didn't they
Because
give
we have
milk?
gender.
Okay, well,
The mother-
the scientific reason for sex is, of course, because it allows the strengths to be.
Yes! What?
He was praying right there now.
Right?
Okay, it's a ball. It's a ball. Fill,
No.
Belt.
Coming together.
Accordion.
Okay, it's a way of mixing up the gene pool.
Thank you, and this to let the strongest.
And that's
parts
why there are
come up.
mixer dances, because they get together and like
Yeah.
Oh,
Except
yeah.
in,
50% one gene.
Kentucky or wherever.
As opposed to just clones where your bad parts are going to stay around forever.
Right.
I got a bad part.
That's kind of, I think it's
I thought that was funny.
completely tied
copy
into
of a copy of a copy.
evolution, like you're kind of hinting at, because like evolution doesn't happen if the gene pool just stays the same. Like all of your progeny have the same genes as you. You would have to rely entirely on mutations, which are usually subtle or small and fairly uncommon. And that would be the only way things could evolve.
Yeah, have you heard the theory about how males are going to become extinct? I mean, it's way down the line, but
I have not heard that.
It's very interesting. They're saying the male...
They're going to become hermaphrodites?
No. The male chromosome is actually... The Y chromosome is actually kind of screwed up, and it's evolving towards not existing anymore. But we're talking like a million years in the future or something.
But isn't it like sex for procreation?
Well, that's the whole thing.
The human race
it was on that.
Exist because we're just going to kill each other.
It was on that the History of the Future timeline where the male stopped existing, and it was like way in the future. But still, it's an interesting.
How far in the future?
My thing is, I think we put a pretty good grasp on why it happens, but I'm kind of wondering like what has to happen when life springs up for sexual reproduction to begin happening. Like, the origins of that to me are kind of fascinating because it seems like, yeah, obviously that's integral to evolution working, but how does it start? You know, is it first that there's this
caveman's
a small mutation where suddenly something, instead of going through mitosis to split up, there's suddenly ones with different sex organs and they can mate?
Yeah, it seems like that it would be two single-celled animals that
split.
mixing together, mixing together
simple.
and then splitting off again.
It's at the point where the organisms are so simple that they just touch and they can, or they touch a certain way and they mix.
Well,
right.
Part of it might be like viruses also because they inject their DNA.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe that's how it started. Yeah, that makes sense.
Males are just viruses.
Right. All right,
and it would be more diversity. If you want to mention the gene pool,
exactly.
you wouldn't get that with the mitosis and stuff.
Exactly.
Now, why do we breathe? As a teacher, I taught 5th grade, and that's one of the things we taught was...
So we don't die.
Well, yeah.
Yes!
But the idea that every cell...
Oh, God. I put a beer on his tit and he just God, he's never had a beer on his tit
I thought Kale was molesting me.
With gold hands!
Again. That was my question!
Now Kale is molesting you.
I'm molesting him
through Eddie.
Through Eddie.
No, wait. Eddie is molesting Daryl through Kale.
Wait, Yuzi, I feel you.
Quit being a pedophile Thursday!
Pedophile Thursday, where we play with another boy's balls.
Thank you for the beer. No thanks for
I want to extend.
Extends.
Speaking of extends.
So
why do we have sex?
It was always amazing that every living cell needs to have 3 things to survive. It needs food, / water, air, or gas, oxygen.
I have gas.
Yes, and it needs waste removal, and that's every cell in your body. And it's amazing how the human body works because it's your nervous system. Every single billions of those cells has a little tiny pathway going into your nervous system, so it can get air from your lungs and food, basically nutrients through the bloodstream.
It's quite a complex system.
If you've ever seen the what was that dead body display they have? What's it called? The human one?
The body?
You saw
the body display.
Yeah. They have one where they've actually taken all the...
They plasticized.
Yeah, and they've done that too. There's one of the things where they've done that with just the blood cells, or the... What are they called?
Bloodstream?
The bloodstream, where it goes. I can't think of the names right now. Not the
circular
veins.
system?
The circulatory system. And there's just millions and millions of wires. It's just incredible.
We'll
link to it if I can find
capillaries.
You're acting like you got this Carl Sagan thing going.
I'm the damn host!
Millions! No.
And he has to be more animated because we're actually being filmed now.
Do way and together and circulatory system.
How do they together?
Yeah.
Okay, so breathing.
One doesn't
Right here, baby!
So we just basically figured that
So glad I extended.
every animal, every cell needs
And
gas.
that's why we're breathing. Is it's the most efficient way for us to bring in the gases to get to all the cells that our body has come up with.
And get rid of the carbon dioxide.
And that's the other thing, because we're getting rid of 2 waste, carbon dioxide waste, and also other waste. But that's done with our.
And interestingly enough, no system is 100% efficient.
That's true.
That's right.
And then there's there's
because
waste.
you get blocked
There's
either
always
way.
waste.
You do get blocked either way, especially when you have extra cheese.
Hooray.
All right, moving on to social questions part. No, wait. Yeah, social questions part 1. Why do we play and why do we laugh?
I don't know.
Why does
Wow.
everybody's farts in this group
Laugh at
sound
that.
weird? Like our trumpeting, that was like a little mammal burrowing into something.
Into something.
I think it was
Get out of there!
Richard Gere.
He's in there? Okay.
That's not burrowing.
Well, we played.
That's not burrowing! So,
We played because it's fun.
well, no, actually,
And it's
once again,
social interactivity. Go ahead, Joey.
Tommy Ho.
And competition.
Well,
No, in the book that Kel and I have recently read, The Future of the Mind, he
It's
talks
a good
about.
damn thing you read that book.
I know, it just keeps coming up.
I watched the trailer.
Michikaki says that basically play is all about
Meet my
practicing for social interaction growing up. And if
As
you
an
look at
adult,
play, and I see it every day on the art, it's all about social interaction. You know, it's playing doctor, but
Of all games you had to
Well,
go
and
to,
some-
there's
choose
tunnel
that one,
tag.
At
There's
some
tunnel
schools,
tag.
they're learning
Tunnel tag.
learning
What
to
the hell
play.
is that?
you didn't
like
play tunnel tag?
No. I guess it was something important I missed in my childhood.
I think it's a generation thing because kids today won't know what tunnel tag is
Yeah.
either. It's where you freeze. It's like freeze tag, but to unfreeze them, you got to go under their legs.
Yeah.
I was seeing something with your hand in somebody's ass. I don't know. It was,
That's word of the week.
No. Again,
That's
not
tag the
burrowing.
tunnel.
I gotta look that up.
Is the future even going to play TV tag? Seriously. Are they?
No, they play zombie tag now. That's the
YouTube
big
tag.
one.
That's cool.
Okay, so playing is social. Why do we laugh? And once again, social. One of the science shows did an experiment on laughing, where they watched people who were laughing. Why was it? Was it jokes? Was it something funny? It was always social. It was always there's lots of people laughing, and it's usually not even because something's funny. It's just related to how you view the world and the people
Well, that's why
around you.
you're more likely to laugh at a movie in a theater than probably at home, because you're with people in the theater and you kind of like feed off the energy.
I think the only reason that this podcast is funny at all is because we're busting up half the time, and people at home don't realize how stupid it is.
Or they do.
and they're
But they're
not
laughing
listening.
anyway.
they're laughing at us.
They're laughing.
though.
Yeah, that's
because
fun.
if, like, if they read the transcript, like if it was just like
Yeah, I
a book,
know.
it wouldn't make sense.
They'd be like, "What the?"
okay, and then fart.
No, they'd be like,
Beep,
"What the
duck,
fuck?"
dick or whatever he played. Or, no, dick.
Wow, that's a new game.
No, we came up with it last time.
Yes.
Oh, right.
So why
It's
do
not
we?
new.
So laughing and playing are all kind of the same thing. It's all about social because we are social animals.
We are animals.
We are.
The animals. We were.
Well,
doing
it's
that.
kind of
We're on the
sense-
same page now. Except
Yeah.
you're Carl
It
Sagan.
helps set
Carl
at least
Sagan.
laughter
Farting.
and other things
You're
like
Stephen
that. It
Hawking.
sets a sense of community. So
Yes.
when you laugh together, you feel like family. And before we've had these discussions about
Stephen
how
Hawking
we're kind of tribal,
with
we tend to
a prostitute.
like we care
Suck my
more
dick,
for
you
our
whore.
immediate
You
people
whore.
around us,
You
and then less
prostitute
for
whore.
strangers.
Suck my balls. Get down there.
Okay.
Suck it.
Thank you,
But
Steve. So-
laughter is a way of relating and forming.
Well, I'd like to think
We're
that
laughing
eventually.
around our campfire here.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think that eventually we won't have a lot of fans. We'll have a community of listeners. And I got that from Leo Laporte, actually. He says it's a community because you're engaged with
which means
with
we
the
have to
podcasters.
interact with them.
Yeah.
All of us are so reclusive.
Hey.
But
Well,
did
we
you
need to
just
get
say-
someone to interact.
That was
Hey,
Joey interacting.
3402.
He's interacting
I'm
with
interacting.
all you
All
people
right.
out there,
I don't
if you
even know
come
why I
here,
said
we
that.
will interact with you.
Sandman.
We'll even let you fondle Daryl. Who doesn't want to do
He
that?
has two tits.
He can be
The
fondled.
one
Thank
only
you very
tail
much.
lights.
He can be fondled continually.
It's Attack of the Clones.
All right.
All right, so now we're going into social questions part 2. Why do we love? Why do we inquire?
Bitch about
Why do
food,
we
but you
love?
talk about Daryl's tits. Anyways.
Yes,
I love
because we're done with Daryl's tits now, and we're moving on.
I love it,
The
Daryl.
fa kept coming. It was like,
Yeah,
we're going to make the
someone
fa. Now we're going to slurp the fa. Now we're going to share the fa.
What the fuck?
Exactly. Let's move on.
Done with the moves. Someone has to cradle the balls now. Come on.
We're
Move
not,
this
All
forward.
right, I'm going in.
we're not into that. All right,
This is
so
why I drink beer at the podcast. It's
why do
funny.
we love? Why do we inquire? Love comes down to the sex thing, but I think it's also
It's
something
an
with
emotional
companionship.
companionship.
Because we love more than just our
wanting to
sexual
be-
partners.
Yeah, exactly. I love you
People.
guys.
And love has different
I believed him on
degrees.
that one.
I mean, I love you guys, but I'm not gonna like let you ram me.
Right.
That is a bumper sticker.
I know, I draw the-
I love you guys, but I'm not going to let you ram me.
And I draw the line at having my
Having
tits
on the
grabbed.
floor.
Apparently you didn't.
But,
Yeah,
you know,
you wanted to be
but
grown.
I'm comfortable with
You
myself.
said your mouth said no, your tits said yes.
I'm going to use that.
Blurred lines.
Why did you do that? Your mouth said no, your tits said yes.
So, I'll have another drink at TGI Friday.
So the reason we love it is I think it relates to everything here. It's bonding,
Yeah.
bringing communities closer together.
Bondage.
Bonding.
Bonding and
I don't
then
know.
Some it's bondage.
bonding again.
You know?
Another thing too is that like we have chemical reasons for looking after youth and stuff.
Right
like
now
that,
it's
too.
beer.
Not with me.
But I mean, like, you get the
Some of us don't need drugs.
Yeah, I know.
You get endorphins.
yeah.
He was just proving that he's already high.
You know,
So, you know,
I'm
when-
so glad I bring
When there's
beer.
a small
about that.
animal or a small human that needs your attention, you're like, I mean, you got this thing's screaming at you or whatever. You know, if you don't have those endorphins and the sense of love and everything, your first response is
And-
probably to get really far away.
Or to kill them.
Yeah, right. So the thing is,
Yes.
we have this nurturing nature. That's part of how we
Nurture nature or
Kale.
we
kill.
became
Not have
adults
kids.
because our parents didn't run away.
For Kale, it's nurture nature or
It
kill.
would be
Well, not necessarily. Your parents could have run away. I mean, anybody's parents could have run away.
No, but
No,
saying it
somebody
in
has to take care of you.
evolutionarily
Small,
that
vulnerable.
yeah.
You gotta go to the
But even more since
fire
I've been
department first to drop you off.
yeah since I've been a dad
that?
since I've been a dad I am so I was about to say attraction to babies. Then that
What day is it?
All right, Michael Jackson.
was
That's Pedophile
the
Thursday.
way I feel about babies has changed. Before I couldn't give a fart, but now, yes, you did. But now it's like when I see
A squeaker.
if I see something like something happening to a baby, it makes me sad. Or if I see something happening with a baby, I've never been that way. Becoming a dad has made me do that. It's
you developed parenting empathy.
yes, which I did not have before. With my nephews and nieces, they were awesome. It was really cool, but I never felt this way about them. Now I feel more towards them because I have a kid.
Did you hear that, guys? Uncle Joey didn't care about you.
Whoa! I didn't say I didn't care. I just wasn't all.
He didn't even give a fart, not even half of one.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting though that the concept of love? There's the love and sex. It's interesting the contract, if you will, between men and women. Women, decide who gets. Extend, please.
Okay.
Sure.
Extends. The women decides who they want to mate with, but in return, the man has to raise the children with them and take care of them for the rest of their life.
You sound like a whiny
Right?
male.
Isn't
Right.
that interesting?
No, but that's a
mean,
good point. And
Yeah.
the thing is,
why? But it's just designed to have kids. The woman wants the man to stay around to provide for the kids.
but at the same time, I have something biological happening now that I'm a father, where I am invested in it in an emotional way, which I did not have before. It was not there.
Right.
And recently you just realized you're that dad.
Yeah, I'm that dad. Like, look at these pictures.
Yeah.
Look at them. Look at them. I don't care if you don't care.
Watch this video.
Watch this video, damn it.
Isn't he so cute?
Hey, let me see.
He rolled over.
And I know I didn't care before,
Yeah, let
and
me
I
see
know
your-
you don't care
let
now.
me see the pictures of your nieces and nephews. No, I don't give a. Well, I do give a fuck. No.
No, philosophically though, let's go into that question of giving half a fart. Because when you cut it
I
off,
give a
doesn't
whole
it
fart.
now become a whole fart?
Well, it depends on
does.
what the intention
So
is.
how do
Hey,
you give half of
wait,
it?
we're cutting off the most.
Okay, what?
We're cutting off the next question, which is
Okay,
why do we
next
inquire, which is kind of the basis of this
So
whole
why did I
podcast.
ask this question about farts?
Well, why do we inquire?
You
Does
want to learn.
anybody know why we inquire? I mean, it must be an evolutionary thing once again, right? Those who inquired were able to discover things that allowed them to.
I think the unknown can be
It
scary.
helped with
We need
So
to
you
watch
want- you need to have
2001
answers.
again.
Those who didn't give half a fart or a whole fart
We went from-
died because they didn't figure out how to
you do
drink
it?
non-poisonous
Girls
water.
tell
Because they had all these farts inside them.
But you know the question of like curiosity killed the cat. I'm sure there's a balance in like there has to be the right amount of curiosity to discover new things versus too much curiosity that you start pulling the tails on tigers.
The Darwin Awards.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
the
like
Darwin.
it's just like one doesn't simply just push a fart,
Into Mordor.
but if you go,
That was good. That was
But curiosity killed the cat. There is a.
Are you extending?
I see a meme in our future.
They ring. It runs.
I just want to say, don't push too hard or you'll poop your pants.
Okay.
No, Samwise is like, Mr. Frodo, you must
Bigger
turn around
picture.
now."
Why do galaxies
Push that.
Did you fart in
Was
Kale's
that a
face?
fart?
No,
It sounded like static.
Oh shit!
Paul's farts.
that was right in my left ear.
Right in his left.
Everything
Dude.
on my left is getting.
Eddie brings spa, and look what happens. Now he brings
That was
beer.
like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Okay.
The bigger picture. Why?
It still remains.
Shut up. Why do galaxies spiral?
Why does Eddie interrupt us all the time?
Why can math describe
Why
things?
are we so loud?
Oh yeah. Why do galaxies?
You're
Not all of them do spiral.
You need to wear your
There are
headphones.
irregulars.
Actually, no. I believe they do all spiral.
No.
Yes, they go in a circle. They don't spiral. They go in a circle.
Well, how's that not spiraling?
That's a good point. No, because
Like spiraling down or spiraling up?
Isn't it the most recent evidence shows that there's a supermassive black hole at the center of every galaxy?
Pretty
Yes.
much.
I
Yeah,
look
there
at Gail
is.
because
That's
which is causing
generally what they think. Yeah,
spiraling down the tube.
Right.
So that's why
There are
done.
irregulars out there. Not.
But they're still going around.
Do they?
Oh,
do they
that's a
spiral or not?
No,
Do they
I think that's a
spiral or
different.
not? I don't
That's
know
an
if they
earlier
spiral.
form of the galaxy because it hasn't gotten the shape yet of the spiral because
It
it's just
hasn't flattened.
It hasn't flattened out yet,
Yeah.
so it's an earlier galaxy. I think is what
Right.
the thing was.
Yeah, and it's like when the Andromeda galaxy collides with ours, they're going to collide, spin around an event, and they'll be
it's right.
spiraling in again.
It'll be a mess of.
Until we collide.
Well,
Andromeda
it's kind of
wins.
like to me, it's like a big
Triangle
model of how every planet and star formed. Is that you have this
Taking a
this
crap and
material.
flushing the toilet.
Yeah, you're right. It
The
starts out as a
accretion
cloud,
disk.
but then it turns into an accretion disk, and that gets its own spiraling force on it.
Yep.
Now the exact physics of how that all happens. That's I'll leave that to brighter people.
And this is an interesting one.
Hawkins,
How can math? Oh yeah, brighter person.
Mr. Hawkins,
You're on stage, go.
Galaxy spiral.
Yes, Stephen
Why do
Hawking.
galaxies?
Galaxies spiral because they are in the southern hemisphere of the universe. And when God flushes the toilet, it goes in the opposite direction than it does in the north.
He doesn't
Okay,
even
Stephen
believe in
Hawking's,
God.
Stephen Hawking's having a stroke.
Everybody, all the celebrities
Morgan
have
in here.
strokes on our program. don't they?
God is fairly easy too.
His thing broke.
Wow.
And look, he's stroking.
It's called a microphone.
Does he have autocorrect?
That would be bad. wouldn't it?
Stephen Hawking autocorrect.
I'm very happy to introduce. my
Hello,
friend.
Mom. How are you f***ing today? Yeah, autocorrect.
Yeah.
All right. Why does math describe everything?
How can?
I don't know. How can it? I don't
It's
know.
not a why question.
Yeah. What the hell?
Why does math?
Why does math describe everything? It just I
Okay, so
I don't know that
we're
one.
kind of running out of time
Well,
on
the
this one.
scientific
Go ahead.
rigor.
Go.
I meant, right, scientific
Go.
rigor, and I think what it really is that
2 + 2 is 4.
like one, we've defined one as being a specific thing, and two, and every integer, right? We know what those are. But I think what it comes down to is when we discover these equations that describe physical reality, we're actually kind of delving into the language of the physical universe. So we've basically math is like the language that describes actual things.
Yeah.
And it could look different
I learned that
depending on
from
who
Dusk Till
invented
Dawn.
it or whatever, but it's just like it's so concrete that that's why it proves itself right, because it actually works. You can make predictions.
Math is a good way of bringing down the explanation of things.
Okay, my question. Unless we're extending.
No, guess not.
Okay, so we're going to Joey's question. Joey's question, I have a large question and then a little question if we've got time at the end. My large question is, why do we yawn?
I like that one.
That is one that I've always wondered because
Doesn't it keep your brain cool?
I've heard
Lack of oxygen.
I've heard that,
Yeah.
but I've also heard that has been disproven as well.
All right.
I've
Take
heard that.
turns.
Yeah, so go ahead. So Eddie, you were saying
Lack of oxygen. I mean, seriously, when I'm just standing there, I'm not tired, but after a good workout and stuff, I start to yawn, and then people tell me to wake up, and I was like, I am.
makes sense.
Right.
Paul?
Keep your brain cool. Or warm.
Hey, it was
Something like that.
Interesting.
for those of you not watching, we're doing the Jets and Sharks
They are
snap.
watching Joey.
Oh my god!
Holy.
Kale.
All right.
All right, it's also a social thing where if if you watch like baboons, they actually yawn, and the other one will yawn as a way of socially interacting.
Lions also.
You know, I heard.
Yeah.
But it's associated with tiredness. And I do think that it does give you a rush of oxygen because you take a sharp, deep breath in, and then that helps you infuse a little more oxygen in your blood.
Unless you're here and then you're getting too much carbon dioxide.
It may have originated from needing oxygen, but I don't think that's the main reason why anymore that it's used. The idea, I think that's
So it's not used anymore?
Well, not for the oxygen. It's because, and the way I found, I used to work with dogs. Well, I used to know somebody who worked with dogs. I used to be married to someone
to them too?
who worked with dogs. And the yawning was very much a social interaction between dogs. It was a show of...
solidarity.
No.
Dominance.
No, the opposite.
Yes.
Submission.
It's a show of submission. When a dog yawns, it's showing the other dog, hey, I'm not going to attack you. Yeah. I'm submitting, or it might even be of a neutrality type thing, because then the other dog will yawn as well, and they relax. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that, where it not only it turned something social into something physical. Like that yawn is saying it's okay, he's relaxed, therefore I can relax. And I know Mythbusters did a thing saying that yawning doesn't cause other yawning, but I have to disagree with that from my personal experience, because it's when someone else yawns, I want to yawn, and you know, and maybe but on Mythbusters they did it with strangers. So maybe it has to be someone you know or someone you're directly interacting with.
That makes
because they were just sitting in a room.
I tell you though, I see like even animals on TV and it makes me want to do it.
Yeah. So
like, I see
thinking about it now, I want to yawn. I'm like,
Go ahead, Joey. Daryl did.
Yum.
Okay, my next second little question is, why is there
No, I'm kidding.
Why is there no name for the thing that happens after you eat? That's not quite a burp, but it's not quite.
It's a cucumber burp.
No, it's not a burp. The air comes up, but it's not really a burp. It's like you're talking and then you got to go.
Like a throat queef.
There you go. Thank you, Paul.
But no, it exists. You guys all know what I'm talking
Queefs
about.
are formed by the penis causing a.
I know. It's like a boot stuck in the mud.
My question. So, not queef. So what I want to know is why don't we not what is it, because we all know what it is. Why do we not have a name for it?
Here, give it a name.
It's not quite a burp.
Joey, let's the Joey explanation.
Well, then it's a throat queef.
The throat queef.
Joey
invented the throat queef.
No, I didn't.
That's good.
But I want to know why.
Dude, I want to buy 5 of them.
I'd like 5 throat queefs.
If you order it now, you get your second.
I want to know why something that happens so frequently does not have a name. I'm sure it has a medical name, but it doesn't have a name in the general population.
Is it not?
It's
Maybe
probably
it's not
just
done.
called a burp. I would guess.
but
Billy Mays here. Throat queef. I'll get that one free.
All right, Paul, what's your question?
My first question I could think of was.
Oh, you guys went for multiple questions, huh?
Well, I was thinking one back.
I just
But really,
said
I want
if
to
I had
know,
time.
Guys.
You heard this already. I'm going to go with it. We have no listeners. Why do we do this podcast?
Up high.
Down low. Too slow.
No.
You didn't do the down low. You saw that.
Yeah.
So I think we have some listeners, but as always, this was never done for the listenership.
It's a social thing.
Yeah. It's evolution social, the answer to all why questions.
Rambling, yawning.
Honestly, since we started this, I've seen you guys more than I have, I think, since high school. Not you, Kale, because I didn't see you in high school.
Whoa!
That would have been weird. I would have been like, why are you hanging around in high school, you older guy?
It's kind of
It's
replaced.
all Thursday.
It's kind of replaced
With Kale.
Poker Night for us. But
Yeah,
I
it
feel
did.
like this is a little more productive.
Yeah, strangely.
Yeah.
There, it's the production right there.
Production came out my ass.
That was a butt queef.
And the thing is, Paul, this will become something someday,
Yes.
and maybe our listeners will, but we do it for us. So
Well,
if
it
you're
is
out there
something now
thinking,
because it's important
if
to
you
us.
think we're doing it for
and
you,
also we definitely keep refining it. It keeps getting better.
Yeah.
And even our website, as we improved it and changed to a new one, it got better and better.
I think it brings to the question, why do we do anything like this? And it's part of being human. We go into projects. People will always say, oh, you don't have a life because you're doing this thing. They'll say it to geeks and people like that. But the truth is, whatever someone does...
throat queef, right?
Yeah, I did. Whatever someone does, if they're interested in it and they want to do it, then it's a reason. Because you can take anything and take meaning away.
Soapbox time, okay? I'm going to tell you what's
Next,
what.
please.
That wasn't an earthquake, by the way.
Because this is this is my thing. Like,
Next, please.
That is your thing.
if you're too afraid to try something new, then you're never going to get anywhere. That's the difference between success and failure. I think the only true failures are the ones who never tried in the first place. We're putting this out there and we're doing it, and to me that's a success because we're actually doing something. Who was in history was ever assured success? Like, did Google know they were going to become this huge mega corporation when they started? No, but they tried something new. And, for every Googles, there are 100 failures out there. But I think failure is a label we put on something that didn't take off.
Jeeves.
But I think the true failures are people who just sit still and never try anything.
Yeah.
So, we've gotten this out there, and now we need to,
And
We go around and slap somebody
I've
in the face.
greatly
get more
enjoyed
listeners and
the
stuff,
creative
so.
process that we do to make this.
And it is about the journey. Even Ask Jeeves. I mean, they had a journey.
Yeah.
And it's gone now.
We're also
Dogpile.
I know for myself,
On the rabbit.
I'm learning from these podcasts, learning on topics that I never really deeply critically thought about or anything, and I learned from stuff from Daryl and Kale and Joey and Eddie and stuff. And
Now you're balls deep in topics.
We're kind of like
And
challenging
Swamp Ass.
ourselves to think about
never
things
knew
that
about
we
Swamp Ass
sometimes don't
before.
give the time to.
Well,
This is
I
an
didn't-
excuse
I didn't
to
have a
ponder
name for
stuff.
But I mean, it's to me. I mean, even I don't know how many listeners we actually have or whatever. I know it'll grow, but we're actually contributing
It always does.
something I feel positive out in the interwebs.
Yeah.
And if all the crap that's out there, it's just it's something.
And
positive.
agree with us or not, I think we give a decent opinion, and we're kind of like the Ig Nobel Prize awards, because I think what we do is the same thing they do. They basically issue awards to research that first makes you laugh, then it makes you think. And I think that sums up what this podcast is. I think that's our goal, is to first entertain, and then if we happen to make you think about some subject, we've succeeded.
That was a cough.
Here, I want to see that laughing and think. Wait,
what?
thank you.
All right, Kale.
All right.
What's your question?
My question is, what is gravity?
Oh, nice.
What is gravity?
Kale. Nobody knows that!
It's a movie that came out last year.
I won Academy Awards and crap.
Well, no. The point is that what do we think it is? Because, like you said, there's a lot of ideas.
Okay.
Yep.
I believe that gravity has to do, and Kale and I have talked about this before, and this is probably... Actually, I should probably not go next, because mine will run into your idea. So what do you guys think gravity is? Okay.
Gravity. Sorry,
It's
Yeah, you looked at Moral Queen, and it's funny. Moving on.
It's one of the major forces in the universe.
It's one of the atomic forces, because basically every piece of matter in the universe is tugging on every other one, pulling them together.
It's
so
an
right
opposing
now
force-
Daryl
it's
is
an opposing
tugging on
force.
me.
Exactly.
It's an opposing force to dark energy.
Ooh.
Is it? How so?
It's
Dark-
being.
Well,
I thought the idea behind
Because dark energy
was
is
that
causing the universe to expand.
but I thought it
if
had
gravity wins, it's going to collapse.
It's also
If
a
dark
movie
energy
starring
wins, it's gonna
Sandra Bullock.
freeze.
Right.
But then again,
Okay.
if dark energy also wins,
But dark energy is
everything
pulling
can-
using
everything
gravity.
can-
The reason why we invented the idea of dark energy is because there's not enough matter to produce the gravity we're
but
seeing.
The dark
effects
energon
of-
that we're speaking of
The dark energy.
is actually. Oh.
there's another theory
Wait,
that
no.
everything's going to rip apart. Too.
A great rip.
A big rip.
So,
ahead, Joey.
my idea with gravity, and Cal and I have discussed this before, and I think we got to the point where we don't know who came up with the idea originally, but it's different from his, which he's going to go over, is that acceleration is gravity, and all that's happening is everything's accelerating out at the speed of gravity, which is why there's gravity. But we don't notice we're moving away from each other, because we're not. It's part of the expansion.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so.
Okay, everything is accelerating out from
Everything's
everything
expanding.
else at a certain speed, which is causing gravity, because the bigger things accelerate faster than the smaller things, which cause more acceleration.
I don't see why that would keep us on the surface of a planet if that's what's really happening.
Because it's growing so fast, it's pushing us out
only
like
if
an
the center
elevator.
of the universe were in the middle of our planet, and we know that that's not true.
But that's just it. Relative to this planet, we're too far away from anything else for us to notice the
Yeah.
effects of it.
I don't see how that works.
Yeah, I know, because you're a bitch.
All right.
Totally.
The first.
Check the show notes.
First, let me qualify.
All,
Joey
you're,
for the
all
win.
you're hearing is a series of mouth queefs
right.
coming out of here.
I'm
word.
qualifying what I'm about to say in that this is just my thinking and it is not a real theory yet. but I think it might be.
It's a hypothesis.
What I think is that what Daryl says is that everything is attracting everything else. But my question was, why? Why is it doing that? And I think what is going on, and the reason everything is attracting everything else is because all matter is collapsing. Every little bit of matter is collapsing into itself, and the more matter you get, the more it collapses into itself.
That's right. You had the opposite view.
Right.
I thought everything expanded.
Right.
I think everything's collapsing.
I'm
And
extremely
so
mad.
when you get to the size of a galaxy,
Yeah.
it becomes so great that light cannot escape, because even light is being pulled in to that. And that's why even when you get a microscopic life form out in the middle of space, it still is, there's gravity there. And the reason is because each individual subatomic particle is collapsing in on itself. And that's what caused, I think, probably the Big Bang in the beginning, is because everything collapsed down until finally they touched.
But then
and that's what caused the explosion of the universe.
There are pretty solid theories of gravity waves too. But
Yeah, and I think they're wrong.
it's freaky to think that every
Gravity falls.
This one. I'm going to extend because I find it really interesting to think about how every subatomic particle, or however low you want to break it down, has a gravitational effect
We'll go
on
low.
every other particle in the universe. And when you think about that, that's considering that you have essentially an infinite number of particles, you also have an infinite number of interactions between every particle and every other particle. And that makes me think about the universe as being, some people have described the universe as just being information. Like there's
like a hologram.
There's infinite squared amount of information, not that even makes sense, infinite squared. But there's that much information in the universe that we always kind of think like, well, what if we can simulate a universe ourselves or whatever? But you can't contain the simulator inside of the universe. Like you would have to spill out into other universes to have the capacity to contain the information you need to simulate a universe. So you can only simulate a compartment. Like you can simulate the solar system or something like that. Maybe you could eventually get the computational power to simulate all the particles in the solar system, but then that simulation is incomplete because you're not dealing with the interactions between all that matter and the matter in the rest of the universe. So I think that every simulation is always going to be a model and imperfect.
What I think is going to be interesting is when
Timer's not running.
the information about the Higgs boson.
Well, talking about infinity, did you know that if you take all the numbers up through infinity and add them together, you get negative 1/12?
Yes. Because I watched that video.
No,
It's my
okay.
favorite.
I probably got it from you.
Well,
No. Yeah, that was interesting.
My
That was really
thinking
interesting.
of gravity that I wanted to continue to explain is that it's like the flow of a river in, and it pulls everything else. As the more river there is, the greater its
Like a
pull is.
siphon?
And so I think that we're going to find that all of the forces, we're talking about this, the great atomic force, the small atomic force, and gravity, magnetism, all of that, we're finding that they're combining. They're actually the same thing. What we're going to find, I think, is that when you get down, that gravity is going to be one of those things that is close to. And the reason is because now that they've discovered the Higgs boson and it's real, I think that's going to have a big impact on what gravity really is and how we'll find out.
True.
Damn.
Because that's the boson imparts mass to
Exactly.
things, and then mass is obviously.
That's why I'm
related to
saying it's really going to.
gravitational force.
I'm excited to hear some real scientists do some deep thinking about it.
instead of us.
Instead of us, yeah.
Gravity is because the world will
No,
spin.
I'm waiting
and we
for them to
stand right
catch up
here.
with me. That's what I'm
is that
waiting
right?
for.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm right. I'm always right. Yeah. Just
Well,
ask
I
my
think-
wife if that's true.
It's yeah, but that was a
You'll
pretty
feel
good
some
question,
gravity
by the
then.
way, Joey. Because like many good questions, it opens up the door.
I'm
to a
glad
lot
you
of
said
other
Joey
ones.
because it was Cal's question.
Oh, that's a really good
Thank
question,
you.
Kale.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you grab Daryl's tits. Shit happens.
Oh,
A moob grab. Oh my God.
I wonder if that's what happens when Daryl's going wild.
Daryl's gone wild. Hi,
It's on an angle
the
now.
gravity is kind of
Okay.
altered in here, and Joey and I are on
my
our
God.
side. Oh, okay, we're
It's all
okay.
lopsided.
We're okay. Kind of like Daryl's boobs.
I was just gonna say.
Thank you. I'd cheers you if you had a horse. Anyways.
So
This is a good idea for an episode. Ask questions.
my first question.
Hey, he's your ship's question person.
Okay, my first
Your ship's
question
host.
is why did Daryl forget his question and not write it down?
Seriously?
Yeah, actually, quite seriously. But I came up with an alternative that
Okay.
I'm afraid is a little more weak. But I mean, I seriously forgot what.
Go
my
ahead, say
question
it. We'll
was.
see if it's weak.
I think I had a good one too. But
What is it? We'll see if it's weak.
my question is why even bother with technology?
Weak.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
My
Well,
other one was better. I
Because
think.
Technology.
cool.
We've gone through this in another podcast that.
What does that
Okay,
mean?
no,
Why
no,
even
no,
bother
no, but
with
that could be
technology?
like-
What does that mean?
But I mean, like the
I want
basic technology could be like a
clarification.
hammer.
Okay.
I mean, that's
I'll get
technology.
clarification.
Yes.
Like what form of technology?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean by why technology?
Okay,
It's
what
inevitable.
I mean by why even bother with technology is that it seems like the goal of technology is to make life easier for everybody, right? So we advance
I wouldn't
level
say
to
easier.
level.
I'd say better.
Better?
Better.
To improve the quality of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think the
But-
hammer made things better?
But
Okay,
eventually we wind
not
up
for the nail.
but you know it's
Or Doctor
whatever. That
Horrible.
was stupid.
speaking of another technology,
It was.
it's definitely a double-edged sword because we have a
we were
downside
talking
to
about
every new
hammers.
technology. So the thing is, when we invent stuff, we want to invent better stuff and better stuff. And it seems like this kind of like never-ending cycle. And then it also complicates our lives because, you know, can we honestly say that life is simpler now than it was 30 years ago or go back 100 years?
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I say it's
well,
not
think
simpler.
about an agrarian
Life
life. You know, you
was
had to
simpler
you basically
then.
had to farm. You know, now if you want to be a farmer, you have to invest in high-end fertilizers,
yeah,
chemicals, pesticides.
But that's just it. It's just a change of reference because
Yeah.
if you were to
That's what I
farm
would
like you did before and you learned it from your pops, pape,
Right?
I think it's called father.
yes, that one, and then it would be easy. But that's the same thing as saying like, well, take someone from the farming world and bring them here and say, here's a computer, go. You know, they haven't learned it, so they're not going to know.
Where's the Annie key?
I would much rather do what I'm doing now than be on some
Right here.
farm, even if I had all the ability to do it.
Have you lived on a farm? They might be giants.
No, but I personally believe that technology is just the next step of our evolution, and it's like any change, you have to get used to it.
All right.
And I think that things today are incredibly easier than they ever have been before, or maybe the better way to say it is wherever we are is what we're used to, and therefore it's the best way things
Hi,
are.
Linda.
I think it opens up new opportunities for
Yeah.
the race to evolve
point.
as humans. And I mean, just think about like how easy it is now for like us to
I
do
saw your
this.
hand, but-
And if we
Right.
try to do this back when we were in high school, it wouldn't work. We'd have to have an
Yeah,
actual
we'd be
radio
like
station.
mailing
We'd have to-
cassette tapes to
yeah,
Well, you want to hear our mixtape?
yeah.
It's mostly us
I think technology has and does make our lives better.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
Is that what you sounded like in
easier.
high school?
And I'm really interested in my life being easier. I want my life to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that technology helps make our lives better, much better.
All right, and I guess since we're supposed to offer a definitive answer to this one was a little more of a like you're all there's no correct answer. I think but
What?
But why we
Bitch!
But my
There's no
opinion
incorrect
on why we bother with technology is that generally it does improve the quality of life. It lengthens, damn it, extends, I guess.
You're used to
You
it.
used one
Oh,
already.
wait, so I can't extend my own
go
answer?
finish
I'll
All right.
extend it for you. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Since
So-
I grabbed your moves.
Yeah, and knock the camera
Force too.
over. Awesome. Okay, so
Better than water
He
spilling
grabbed
on
it
your
with
keyboard.
force.
Yeah,
so we
milk.
I think that there's the downside though is that things do become overly complicated. Like we have this huge bureaucracy, and when you think about like government is kind of like a technology, right? And I think government gets more complicated, and so do things like rules of how things are supposed to be done. And we wind up with everything being micromanaged by a series of laws and regulations and stuff like that. So in one way, it makes life easier in that we don't have to struggle behind a plow anymore. But before plows, what was agriculture before that? It was manual labor without tools. Must have
Picking
been very
berries.
rough. And I think that my point about
They said twigs and berries.
a change in complexity is that I think we wind up with a lot of stress in our lives
Twigs and berries, cash and prizes.
because even though
Euphemisms for genitalia.
Keep going, Daryl.
even though things become like a little easier through technology, I think that
prizes.
we also wind up with a layer of complexity on top of everything and more stress because we're trying to keep up with everything. Like before you know it, your taxes are due and you got to like make sure that all your finances are in order. You have to make sure that all the bills are paid. You have to, like technology leads to all this stuff that complicates our lives and adds stress. However, without technology, you have a lot of stress of just purely surviving. You're going to catch some disease that might kill you at an early age. You're going to be running away from wild animals trying to eat you and stuff like that. So
I was just thinking that
technology is good, but it has its
Point of order. We watched a film in Mrs. Wheeler's class, 6th grade, about the invention of machines and computers. Extends really quick.
Okay.
We're supposed to have all this time?
You don't get the rules. You can't extend.
Modern man
really
has
quick.
more time than he has ever
Who's
had.
the host here?
Right.
Because machines, because
We're not.
Blah 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 blah
computers.
blah blah blah.
What are we doing with this time?
Okay, wait.
So what?
Wait. I was gonna say let's give Eddie
who has
his
some
why.
stress left.
Go ahead.
What's your why question?
For what?
You can ask a why
question.
question.
I can ask a why question.
And if you'd like, you can continue on to this.
Okay, but yeah, what were we supposed to do with all that time? We're supposed to have all this time, but we don't anymore. We have less.
Yeah.
But actually, there's 24 hours.
So we make a podcast.
My question is, if
That's not why.
Yes.
if
Why?
why not invent a microwave fireplace? That way you could sit in front of it for the entire night in under 8 minutes.
Dude, that would have sped up the storyline in Gremlins. So, I like that.
There's some logical problem with that.
Yeah. I think the reason why we don't
Let's spend 2 minutes trying to figure it out.
Probably
be
the same
lethal.
problem
You laugh
why you don't
there
put
was no
live
laugh.
things into a microwave
Yeah,
because they tend to explode.
As South Park pointed out in their classic episode, your balls will
We'll grow.
grow to the size of bouncy balls.
Bouncy balls. Big
But then
big
you
bouncy
will
balls.
be eligible for medical marijuana.
Yes, but then you go.
I bought some used paint.
Okay.
It was in the shape of a house.
Can we
Anyways.
skip? Didn't we used to do
I
skip?
thought it used
Don't worry, time's running out.
My question is, why did we let Eddie do this?
Yeah, exactly. What happened to all of our time that we're supposed to have with all these machines and all this computers and everything? It said so in the late 60s, according to that thing we saw in the 80s.
Yeah.
I
So
think
we
we
just
got.
come more
It was the
productive?
evil
I think we've got
corporation.
more. I think we've got more time.
Productive.
I think we've got.
No, we do.
I think we
don't
have more
appreciate
time.
it.
I
We
think
don't appreciate
that-
it.
It's just a
right.
way of life.
Finally.
That was pretty good. That was good.
Because we
Kale.
don't
All right,
know.
let's finish up.
That's good.
The big questions.
You know what? You can take my feel of Daryl's tit and you can have it.
Oh my gosh.
The big questions. Enough of that!
Yes!
Why?
I am not here for your pleasure.
Boobs
Okay. Guys, we got to continue. On to the big question. Why are Daryl's tits here for our pleasure?
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, thanks for reminding me.
That was a good flick, man. That
right.
felt good.
All right.
All right.
What are we here for
I'm gonna
outside of
kick
Daryl's
all of
boobs
you in the
and-
balls. Nice swift kick.
What is the universe for? All right, I'll start and we'll move this way.
Round robin.
I think that the only way to answer this is to do what we always do, which is model the answer. And so, for me, the ultimate is in my head. I'm modeling the world in 2 ways. I'm modeling it for the moment. That means where I am right now, and I'm modeling it to give it meaning. So my entire reason for living is to give meaning to the world and experience the moment. Eddie.
Nice.
Whoa, that's a fortune
really good.
cookie, man.
That's really good. I have my supremely nihilistic view, which is that we're not here for a purpose at all. We just happened, and we continue to happen fortuitously, by chance. The other aspect is that we really don't know yet. It's an ongoing process, and we have yet to discover why we're here. So, in the meantime, it's a journey.
Nice. And the journey is...
To Daryl's tits.
The value of a journey is...
Which are over there.
Go ahead.
Follow that. Well, what are we here for? Why are we here? I don't think I don't have an answer for that. I kind of agree with Eddie that we're here by chance, not by any big someone's.
You godless
meaning.
heathens.
Yes, but why we're here? Why I'm here myself? I think, or why we're all here is to contribute positively to the community, positivity to the community, to our evolution.
Are you reading The Secret on your laptop?
The secret garden.
It's made for a man.
Bob Proctor!
No, strong enough for... Never mind.
Yes.
I'm not advertising. Unless you want to pay.
All right, we still have 2 people to get to.
Go ahead,
Just a
Cal.
reminder.
Well, I kind of like what you guys have been saying about it, except
you're wrong.
I don't. Yeah, but you're wrong, and I'm right.
Hey, Kale said he's always right, Linda.
And we are
And
still...
except, but ask my.
And
wife.
we are interrupting him.
Anyway, yeah. So it's par for the course.
Yeah.
The thing is that I don't think it's chance. And that it's evolution, and evolution is not chance. Evolution always builds on itself and builds on what works, and because of that, it is evolution that is happening in our world and our lives. And I'm not sure if ultimately it will bring us to a purpose for the universe, but the purpose of the universe is to evolve, and that's what it is.
And I'm going to quote Carl Sagan here because we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. And I find that
Oh,
to
that's
be
cool,
really...
because we're part of the cosmos.
Right. I find it really interesting because, like, life, as it exists, whether it's only here or spread throughout the universe, it's the way that the universe can actually think about things. Because there's, without life, there's no comprehension that we know of, right? And that brings up another question that if we do a sequel to this episode, I would probably want to ask, what is intelligence? Or maybe we would have a what episode, right?
What?
Intelligence.
No, I don't think we should have one. What?
Every single
We should
question.
have a what the fuck.
It should be
What? Motherfucker.
But think about it, though. It's like...
Time code.
When you think about the connectome of our brains, it's like the structure of it.
Go ahead. Paul, extend him.
Extend, my
Thank
friend.
you, sir. So the connectome is how things are arranged, right?
I'm getting
But
out of the way of that one.
Yeah.
there can be
I would
intelligent
tell.
arrangements of a lot of other things,
Right.
Like
Paul's
think
is so
plants
big.
and maybe the planets and the galaxies have some sort of intelligence that we're just not aware of because we're not able to see the big picture of it.
Or
all.
what do they always say? We are the universe trying to understand itself.
Okay, that was his whole thing.
That was the Carl Sagan quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did Daryl just say?
Something that
What
Kale
does
just said.
Daryl say?
It's interesting. Well, another perspective that I just realized is that we've had legions of human beings thinking about this.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Human Beings thinking about things.
I think we already have. We talk about extra dimensions, and we talk about the nature of the universe. I think that if we were to use our brain power to think about that individually,
No.
we would come to the same answers that they have.
Yeah.
Because I brought this up to Mike. We have people who've known about samsara, life after death, continuation of it, more than one Big Bang. These weird concepts.
I've seen that movie.
These weird concepts that
He made me do it.
I quit.
But the point is, if you think about it, it'll come to you, but it requires work. You need to devote your brain power to that instead of farming for potatoes.
Last question.
Well,
Why don't I wear a bra?
The true reason
I need
we're
to
here.
shower my hands now.
The true reason we're here
I need
is to
shower
touch
these
Daryl's tits.
bad boys.
Yes! Come on! No! I wanted to touch the John Bull.
No. Come on. Struck the bottle.
I got my own.
Boobs
So-
are our
Nice
life.
neck.
These are the
So yeah, I
boobs
think
of
it's
our
hard to
lives.
find like an actual meaning for why everything's here, but
Why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very moment. By the way, everyone, that was Words to the Wise, WHYS. Thank you, Daryl. That was excellent.
Yes, thank you, Daryl. Thank you very
guys.
much.
So
no thanks for all the boob touching.
We have a very momentous
thank
occasion
you.
coming up. Next week will be our 50th episode. Kale, it is your choice. It has landed on
Yeah,
you.
what is that, the
It's like you got
aluminum
42. What the hell?
Yeah.
So what is your choice, Mr. Man, for next week?
Well, I think it's appropriate. We're going to extend to sex.
Oh, no
We're
way.
going to talk about sex.
We never talk about sex.
Hey, let's talk about you and me.
No, not you.
And me.
No, not sex.
Yeah, Daryl.
Yes, we're going to talk about all different types of
Nice.
sex and what
I
it's
can't
about
believe I'm
and
being
how you can be
molested by
better
my
at it,
friends.
how you can improve it.
Dude, we're recording.
Oh
What-
my god.
It was just a deer fart.
I was looking at Linda like, Linda, what the hell?
She doesn't have a control.
Yeah.
just a deer fart.
Anyway,
That's all.
yeah.
Okay, guys, you can always reach us at
Sex.
show@IamRambling.com.
Wait, isn't that in Michigan?
Sex, Michigan?
No, deer fart.
Deer Park, Michigan.
That's right next to the Pontiac factory.
Please email
balls.
us.
By the way, I love how Eddie raises the conversation around here.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Cheers.
I'm Joey Schammel.
I'm Ed's editorial.
I'm Paul Hanger.
K.L. Anderson.
Daryl George.
And remember, we're incoherent.
Yes.
So
you don't have to. She's back.
Screw you guys and going home. Screw you guys.
I have to go home.
Me too.
I am out.
Thanks for listening. You can now stop screaming at the open air. Listeners should put their minds back in their upright positions and resume traditional thinking. Find us on IamRambling.com for access to all of our weekly ramblings, show notes, general discussions, and any projects from Incoherent Ramblings. Like us on Facebook and rate us on iTunes. So long, and thanks for all the fish.